Welcome to the Trading Sliders Podcast. Here we go, episode number 18 of the Trading Sliders Podcast. I am Bobby Puckett. Here in the studio with me today is Kurt the Flash Bennett. After last week getting in super late, and we kind of had to do some stuff on the fly because the schedule didn't really work out, but we made it happen. This week's show being brought to you by Speed Decals. Walt at Speed Decals, he's a big supporter of our show, helps us in more ways than we can imagine, and more ways we can tell you for sure. So if you need anything race car related, I know Walt's been super busy with the World of Wheels car show and getting stuff ready for speedweeks. So
plus it's just that time of year for him.
Yeah, he's super busy. But if you need anything, reach out to him. He'll get you taken care of. But besides that, this week's guest, I'm not going to forget the guest this week, Flash.
That's right.
Because every week I either forget the guest or forget the title sponsor or forget something. But this week's guest, none other than Jeff Green out of Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Former NASCAR Xfinity / Busch Grand National champion. Funny story, Jeff and I ran into each other in Tulsa, Oklahoma for two totally separate events.
Yeah.
And hooked up. So Jeff Green this week, really fascinating, really, when we get in his interview. But we'll save that for later in the show. But I did want to make sure that I got the guest out this week. Not 20 minutes in, and we decided to tell everybody who's on.
Yeah.
So what's going on, Flash? How was your weekend?
That was good. I really didn't have a whole lot to do this weekend, so I kind of got to relax a little bit.
Well, that's a good thing because Speedweeks has begun.
Yeah, I did watch some races.
Yeah, I was said. We're going to have a little bit of Chili Bowl talk because I didn't really get to talk about that much on the last episode. But Speedweeks have begun. We're going to cover that. And racers race. We always say that, even though if they bitch about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about is the Speedweeks / Dirt Late Model season too long? One other thing we want to talk about, the Kentucky Motorsports Hall of Fame. That went on this weekend. Had a huge success there. Cumberland Plateau Open Wheel Modified Series released their schedule. And
yeah, they got a good looking schedule too.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that. The Cumberland Plateau Open Wheel Modified Series maybe it's the best schedule that we've had for a series, but it'd be a damn good late model schedule too if somebody just wanted to copy it over with the tracks and everything.
Yeah.
And one other thing we're going to discuss, Flash and I stayed out all night last night like we were young kids again.
Yeah.
Kind of not really babysitting kids, but chaperoning.
Yeah.
So that's everything we're going to discuss on this, and then we'll get into some race results because there was plenty of them this weekend. But first things first, let's talk about the Chili Bowl because I didn't get to get your take on it.
Yeah.
What did you think about this year's Chili Bowl?
I thought it was awesome, just like always.
Yeah,
it's never a bad. We was talking on the phone while you was out there. And I said, I think Wednesday night was the least.
Yeah, I only had one pass for the week.
It was the least exciting. That's why I told you. I said, man, there's got to be one night that just ain't as good as the rest, and that was it. But I mean, it was still an awesome race. It just wasn't outstanding like the rest of them.
Well, that's what I want to say. One thing I want to say, man, the track prep for the Chili Bowl was phenomenal.
Oh, them guys are on it, man. I mean,
what card is that, Flash?
That's the card I took out of there.
Okay. That's what I said. We do this on the fly. So.
Yeah, that's a brand new one.
Okay, yeah, no, okay. But yeah, the racetrack was in excellent shape, and now that the Chili Bowl's over, I've heard drivers and stuff discuss it, and one thing that was pointed out that, I realized while I was there, but I really didn't pay attention to it. They were talking about they changed the berm on entry, so the berm was kind of flatter so it didn't upset the cars, and I think that's why we had big slide jobs.
Right, yeah.
Because even if you did screw up a little bit, it didn't put you on your lid.
Yeah.
But shout out to Chili Bowl Gravel and everybody that worked on the racetrack, because that is a tiring week.
Oh, yeah.
A tiring month.
I was just watching, like when I was watching the show, I was watching those same guys every night out there that run out to those cars. 2 seconds after they're upside down, they're at the car. And it's the same guys every night. And those guys are there all day, every day. And they have to be wore out after those two. And there's a lot of them the same guys that work the shootout too.
So not only that, they're the same guys that's putting the banners up the other day, fixing the catch fence, pressure washing the bleachers.
Yeah. Those guys are
that crew
awesome.
is dedicated and unbelievable.
Hats off to all them guys. That's unbelievable what they can do.
Yeah, and one of the things that when you're out there, you don't really realize it on TV is when you walk in that building every day, it's spotless.
Oh yeah.
You can't tell they raced there the night before. I mean, there may be a pole bent on the fence or something.
Yeah.
But all the dirt's cleaned up, all the mud's cleaned up. I mean, it's a major undertaking that they do at the Tulsa Expo Raceway, and it's one of those things that even when you see it on TV, it's not the same. When you walk in the building, it just does not do it justice.
No.
We had some Chili Bowl rookies with us. And that's what they said. I can't believe this track's this big. I said, well, I mean, it's a quarter mile. What the hell you think? A quarter mile's a quarter mile.
Yeah, people don't realize that when they think of Chili Bowl, they think it's just like a little bitty track, and it's not. It's a full-fledged racetrack.
It's
just got a roof over it.
Yeah, I say let's race there year round.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. One thing when I first started going there, they talk about the Chili Bowl flu, and knock on wood. I feel fine. I didn't Chili Bowl flu, but I will say this year there's some Chili Bowl sniffles going around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that's got head colds, and you don't realize it, but when I first started going there, when you walked in, the fumes were terrible.
Yeah.
Now you don't even smell the fumes, but obviously the fumes are still around. Because it is a little tough to breathe at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Especially with that many cars, and this year was a little more fine dust than fumes. But
I think a lot of that has to do with the weather outside, depending on what's going on outside too. I mean, because
they say the cooler it is outside, the better it is for the fumes and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Saturday it wasn't fumey. It would not be fumey then because it was colder than hell there Saturday.
Yeah.
But it was like in the 50s all week though.
Yeah.
I just want to retouch on that. Had a great time at the Chili Bowl. I absolutely loved it. It's a bucket list event. If you've never been, you need to go at least one time. I know tickets are kind of hard to get, but you can get in the pits, and I mean it's just an event that you need to go to.
Yeah, Flo did an excellent job covering it, but I'm telling you, unless you're there where you can actually watch everything, because a lot of times the cars they're showing on Flo ain't even half the race. I mean, you don't get to see it all unless you're there.
Well, because we were talking, and you were talking about that Wednesday night. You said, well, it was okay, and I said, did they not show Jason McDougal? Because he passed like 20 cars.
Yeah. So
he's like, no, they only showed him one time,
Yeah, that's the time you've seen him when he crashed. That's one time you've seen him. I mean.
I was like, oh, man. I was like, because McDougal was all over. They didn't show him on TV.
Seen him telling somebody that was number one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but Chili Bowl, it's kind of the kickoff to the season. Actually, the Tulsa Shootout is.
Yeah.
The Shootout every year is the last race / first race because it carries over in the new year.
Right.
But speaking of kickoff to the season, I mean, Speed Weeks is here. It took a few extra days to get going with all the snow all over the southeast United States. This is funny. We don't do politics here, so I don't want to. But I did see a meme. It was pretty funny. It said, so President Trump's going to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of United States. And it said, God said, hold my beer, and put all the snow in Florida.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny. And it's like what in the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Speed Weeks got snowed out, Flash.
Yeah.
Got
10 inches of snow on the beach. What, Pensacola?
Yeah, it was Pensacola.
Yeah, I think so. I would have loved to have been down there just to watch people trying to drive.
Well, I don't know. We was in Alabama in an ice storm once.
It's about the same.
I don't know if. That was probably really bad.
Yeah.
Watching those people try to drive in 10 inches of snow. But Speed Weeks has begun. We started off. Ocala was the first one that pulled the trigger. Volusia canceled the first night. We're gonna get into that with race results. But one thing about Speed Weeks is that's another thing that's bucket list. It sucks now that like East Bay's gone because East Bay just had their final race, and you don't really think about it, but now that Speed Weeks has started, it's like damn, like there's no East Bay. But hats off to Ocala Speedway for stepping up. I think they've got like 20 something races this month.
Yeah.
So they've done their best. Ocala's not East Bay.
Yep.
Never will be.
Altec's trying to fill in a little.
Yes.
I think.
So Altec and North Florida and Volusia. So. And we got some stuff going on in Georgia with the Hunt the Front series, and
my uncle's in Tampa right now, and he called me yesterday. He said, "Man, where can I go watch races at?" I said, "Man, you gotta go all the way to the other side of the coast or up north." I said, "There's the only way you're gonna get there this weekend." Because last year he went to
East Bay.
East Bay, you know. So I said, yeah, it ain't there no more. I said, so you're gonna have to head. You have to head all the way over by Daytona, or head up towards the middle of the state.
Yeah. So that just sucks. There's no way around that because East Bay was it was one of my favorite racetracks that I've been to. Not only for the racing, but for the food and the scenery. I mean, it was a really beautiful facility. So
although apparently Ocala's trying to take over the strawberry shortcake, I heard, because the announcers was talking about it.
Well,
and they said it was really good. So
I'm down like James Brown. Anybody wants to take over that strawberry shortcake, I'm ready. Ocala gets a bad rap because it usually don't race the greatest. And right off the bat, they tried to race with 10 inches they had 3 inches of snow and like 4 inches of rain.
Right. Yeah.
So the track was heavy. It wasn't great, but honestly, both features at the end of the night, Thursday night, were both really good. Yeah. So it was it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But hats off to Ocala. I hope people get out and support Ocala because I know during Speed Weeks the last few years, the only time Ocala Speedway has got any support at all down there was when USAC come to town and the Lucas Oil late models.
Right.
So hopefully, going forward that Ocala, they can pick up dates and people can get out and support because the facility's awesome.
Yeah.
And the racetrack kind of reminds me of Windy Hollow.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that.
Yeah,
it's a different track. That's what a couple of them guys was talking about. Them first night they run there, is like, man, we ain't never run on nothing like this. But the next couple of nights they started picking up, figuring it out a little better.
That's why I would have lost money. I would have bet Cole Followay would have won all the modified races. This place is exactly like Windy Hollow, but things didn't go his way.
No, he got a bad rap on one of the races, I think.
Yeah,
from what I've seen anyway.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you can pass them once, you can pass them twice.
Yeah,
that's the way. When cautions come out, it's always damned if you do, damned if you don't thing. I've been burned by cautions, and I've had some save the day. I was thinking, good God, I can't believe that happened. So, all works out. One thing we say on this show all the time: racers race, and they do, but not to say that sometimes they don't bitch about it.
Right.
Bobby Pierce runs 100 races a year, and the other night, this got started on Twitter. Somebody was actually trying to, get Michael Rigsby going.
Yeah.
And Rigsby said, like, this guy tagged him, tagged dirt on dirt and everything. Is like, there's no off season. You guys are killing the sport with streaming, blah, blah, blah. And Rigsby didn't bite for a while. Then I don't know if he had a few cocktails. About 2 a.m, Rigsby said, all right, I'll bite. And they discuss it. Well, I guess Bobby Pierce was working on race cars. He come in about 4:30 in the morning and seen that, they were going back and forth, and he put his 2 cents in, and boy, did he start a shitstorm.
Yeah.
Now we got guys wanting to protest Florida and everything. But essentially what Bobby Pierce said was, we race too much. Now, this is a guy that runs a national series, and when he gets any off day, he goes and runs the summer nationals.
Yeah.
But I get what he's saying. I just didn't like his approach to it. Let's put it that way. But what he said was, we race too much. We don't have an off season. And when we go down south, that Speed Weeks isn't what Speed Weeks once was because East Bay's gone. It's hard on equipment to run Volusia for 9 straight nights.
Yeah.
That's not... There's nothing factually wrong with that. It is hard on equipment to run Volusia for 9 straight nights.
Yeah.
But one point that he said was, and this here's where I disagree. He said that he doesn't think Lucas or World of Outlaws should start their season in Speed Weeks. He thinks it should be open competition, and whatever racers want to go can go. Don't make your guys travel down there.
Yeah.
I see that side, but Speed Weeks was always, hey, Daytona's here. Yeah. Everybody's in town. So every series wants to be a part of it because your ultimate goal is to be in NASCAR.
Right.
As much as that pains me to say, I think that's because to me, there's these guys that I think their end all goal should want to be the best late model or sprint car racer in the country.
Right.
And make a living doing that. But so I understand why we go to Daytona, and I understand what he's saying about because they just ran the Wild West Shootout, but that wasn't a series event. You chose to go to New Mexico.
Right.
That's you chose to go out there.
It's not a points race.
Yeah. So if you're choosing to go out there, don't be bitching about having to come back because you knew in advance you were going to have to be in Florida in February. So that's my only issue with that. But do racers probably need an off season? Probably.
Yeah.
But guess what? The Ice Bowl, the Possumtown Grand Prix, all that stuff has always gone on in the winter. And guess what? Race cars show up anyways.
Yeah, 364 cars?
Yeah, at the Ice Bowl.
So,
yes, racers need time off. A, to get their equipment ready. B, they need time off for their sanity, probably just a little bit.
Yeah.
So they're not beating themselves up. But here's the thing. If you don't want to race, don't go race.
Yeah.
Stay home.
Don't run for points. Just go race.
Yeah, stay home. You don't have to run for World Outlaw points.
Yeah.
You can run Northern All Stars or the ML. No, you can't run the MLRA. They're gone now. But there's other stuff out there you can do. You can go run the Summer National Tour. You don't have to. You don't have to go. So if you don't like it, don't go.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I know the cost going up and down the road, the cost on equipment. I get all that. It's the reason why I don't race no more.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
But in a simple token too, you guys are racing for $10,000 to $20,000 a night. If you don't want to race for that, don't race.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay home. Because there was 60 late models that said, "Hey, guess what?
We're racing.
We're racing."
Yeah.
And at Volusia, between the crates and the supers, there's 140 cars that said, "You know what? We're glad to race."
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on that. I get that it's a lot of work and it's rough. I get that.
Yeah. A lot of people like to use that as their vacation and go down to watch racing in the early part of the year like that too. It's just something they've been doing for years. And like I said, used to, though, it's changed a little bit because most of the races at like Daytona and stuff have moved to nighttime now. Used to, when it ran during the day, as soon as that race was over, everybody went to the dirt track. That's just...
Well, one of the funnest trips I ever took was a 17-night speedweek trip.
Yeah.
And that time, you had ASA on the pavement side. There was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
We were able to go to 7 different racetracks.
Yeah.
Now you can go to like 5 different racetracks. So I get it. I totally understand.
Yeah. Well, used to in Volusia, you go to 2 racetracks right there, asphalt or dirt.
I've done that too.
Yeah.
I've done that many a times actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, racers race, and Bobby Pierce is a true racer. He's a guy that will race every night of the week. But honestly, I think this just has a lot to do with Bobby Pierce don't like going to Florida.
Yeah.
He don't like the track size. He don't like the surface. And he just would rather race in Illinois.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't say I don't blame you for that.
Yeah.
The racetracks in Illinois are badass.
Yeah.
So.
I've had a few racetracks I raced at that I just didn't like. And and I usually didn't go back a whole lot.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's enough on that. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but because I'm a huge Bobby Pierce guy. He's probably, between him and Ricky Thornton Jr., they're probably the 2 best late model drivers consistently, year in and year out.
Yeah.
And they race a lot. Speaking of racers, hell, Ricky Thornton Jr. was flying back and forth across country, race a midget at the Chili Bowl, then flying to Georgia, sitting in the rain, flying back. So
yeah.
I don't think Ricky Thornton Jr. will ever say there's too many races.
Yeah,
so.
I'll tell you what, Chili Bowl, there's 3 or 4 guys that I didn't think would impress me that really did. Yeah. Ricky Thornton was one of them. Kyle Busch was one of them.
I'll tell you somebody who really impressed me. Santino Ferrucci.
Yeah.
He impressed the hell out of me. For a guy that races Indy cars and's never seen the open wheel racing midgets, as he calls them, he impressed that. Of course, his car didn't need a clip when it was done.
Yeah.
But what he was doing was good until it wasn't. So,
right, yeah.
There was a lot of stuff at the Chili Bowl that I was really, really amazed with. Let's put it that way. One other thing, I didn't get to make it out, but the Kentuckiana Motorsports Hall of Fame went on Saturday over at Clark's Place, and I know Rick Arwin's been working on this for 7 months, trying to make all this happen, and I heard from a couple people that I talked to that they had a big turnout, big crowd, and things went better than he expected. So, shout out to Rick Arwin for putting in the time, the energy, the effort. Because I've said this before a few weeks ago, there's a lot of people that well, this guy should go win. This guy should go win. For 10 years, we've had people to say, we need a Hall of Fame event. We need something. There's a lot of keyboard warriors can tell us what we need to do. Well, he went out and did the damn thing.
Yeah.
So if you thought other guys were more deserving, well, guess what? I'm sure if...
And this is just the first year.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
There's plenty of time for people to get in. That's not going to be a...
Yeah, that's overall, I thought he did a really damn good job. And, and like I said, he was the one that stepped up and said, we're going to make this happen. This is going to work. And what else can you say about that? Because there's a lot of people that, like I said, they'll tell you what needs to happen.
Yeah.
But laying the groundwork and doing the work, they didn't really get to it. So right. I'm glad that Kentucky...
I think it would be cool if he put out a paper like at the Dome, handing them out when people going in, like maybe some of the older guys going in or something, or even in the pits, and let people put like 5 names down or something, so he could go through them through the year to get him some good ideas.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea too. Like I said, but I know how much work it was to get this off the ground. I've talked to Rick about it, and we've discussed things, so I understand. He was stressing out about this, hoping it was going to go right. And I'm glad it went.
I think he's done an awesome job.
Yeah, I'm glad it went good. Because there was a lot of work, and not only him. Shout out to Mike Gibson and Clark Nichols. Everybody involved, because there was a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes to make all this fall into place.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad it went off. And I think they had well over 200 people in attendance.
Yeah, that's good.
So it was a good event, and I think it was a really smart, tying it in on the same day as the Sportstrom had their banquet, so people go over and make a day out of it and stuff. So
right, yeah.
Shout out to like I said, shout out to Rick Arwin for making that happen. That's something that's needed to happen for a long time, and I'm glad it did. 2 more things I want to talk about before we get into race results. The Cumberland Plateau Open Modified Series released their schedule, and this schedule here this year is one of those things that when Matt and I was talking, he asked me to throw out a few racetracks that he would that we should go to, and of course I'm throwing out I'm like, let's go to Fairbury, let's go to Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, how about in our area? Because we cover a tri-state area.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside, but one thing that I did tell him, I said, let's go to Tazewell. And then a few shows back, we kind of teased it. And I'd be damned if that night Matt didn't put out the release. Cumberland Plateau is going to Tazewell. The same night we put the show out, I was like, I could have just told everybody, Matt, damn, let me know. But the schedule though this year for the Cumberland Plateau Open Modified Series, like I said, if you're a regional late model guy and you're wanting to start a series because we don't have nowhere near enough, let's start a new series. You can almost take this schedule and copy it over and have a pretty damn good schedule.
If they get enough series started, I might start racing again.
Yeah, well, yeah,
because I can make the race.
You can make the damn field if there's 37 crate series.
Yeah.
If you want to race in East Tennessee, there's probably 22.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them.
Yep.
But just want to touch on the Cumberland Plateau Series real quick. There's 4 or 5 events that I'm not going to go word from word, for the whole schedule. But as the schedule opens up April 12th at Lake Cumberland Speedway. But May 3rd is one I'm really looking for. Tazewell Speedway.
Yeah.
It's been about 6 or 7 years since they've had open wheel modifieds at Tazewell. And I don't know if everybody wants me to say this or not, but there's to be announced at the end of the year in September. If Tazewell goes, pretty good, there's going to be a major event filled in that to be announced. Yeah. So, guys, if you're listening to this and you're kind of up in the air about, well, do we want to go to Tazewell because it's fast? Trust me, if you want a really good paying modified race, you may want to go to Tazewell July 3rd, okay? Yeah. And it's not like...
May 3rd.
May 3rd, I'm sorry. Yeah, but it's paying $2,000 to win, $200 to start anyways.
Yeah.
May 3rd. But if you want a major paying modified race, you may want to just show up and support Tazewell. But then after Tazewell, we head to Bulls Gap, a $2,000 to win race there, and we got and this one here is really special too. September 11th at Bulls Gap, the Cumberland Plateau Open Modified Series. We don't have the payouts to be announced because we're in workings, but that's the Scorcher week. It's Bristol Race Week.
Yeah.
And we're going to be there for the Scott Bloomquist Memorial Race. So it's going to be on flow and everything. So the to be announced is because there's a lot of paperwork getting tidied up.
Right.
But we got 2 events this year at Bulls Gap. So I'm looking forward to that. And we're heading back to Sugar Creek Raceway. Last year, with the Sugar Creek event, it was way better than expected for the situation. We caught that on the way to Florida.
Yeah, I really like that track's really awesome. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I like Sugar. Is it easy to get into? No, it's not. No, it's. Is there some pretty crooked roads? Yeah, it is. But it's a badass racetrack once you get there. But so we're headed back to Sugar Creek. I'm really looking forward to that. And also, what I'm looking forward to in June, the 27th and 28th, the North Alabama Speedway. We're going to be part of the B Mod Special. It's an all modified weekend. There's a B Mod event that pays $5,000 a win on Friday and $10,000 a win on Saturday.
Yeah.
And the open mods. This event here, we're going to kind of adopt the One Nation Under Mod event. So you just run your tires, your spoiler rule. This is one of those deals that they're going to try to make it bigger every year. But we start off with $2,000 a win on Friday and $5,000 a win on Saturday.
Right.
So that's a really good event. And we're going to do a doubleheader again, back to another event that we went to last year, Beckley, West Virginia. Super neat racetrack.
Yeah.
Another track's not really easy to get into. It's right off the expressway. You would think it would be easy to get into. Yeah. But it's not. Some really crooked roads getting in that place. But Beckley, West Virginia, we have a $3,000 a win on Friday and $5,000 a win on Saturday.
Yeah,
so
and that place is awesome too. I actually went down there with you with that one. That was a good place to race there.
Yeah. So like I said, new tracks. We're at North Alabama and we're going to go back to Tazewell, and there's some races at I-75 and sprinkled out through Lake Cumberland and Rockcastle. I think there's five states between Virginia, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee. So looking to be a really good series. So as the race season gets here, we'll cover that in depth, and we're going to have Matt on, and he's going to talk about a few things. And we've adapted we've always been like UMP sanctioned, so we're on the same rules as UMP, but this year we're going to kind of open it up a little bit to if you've like USMTS type rules, so you can run a 5-inch spoiler if you run the harder tires, but that's something we're going to get into later. Yeah, that's there's a couple of events that we're going to do like the One Nation Under Mod rules, and just to see if it works, to see if we get in, get some travelers, because there's some really good paying races there in East Tennessee and Kentucky for the mods that those guys are pretty spoiled in that area, honestly, because I know
down
up here. In our area, like the Northern All-Star Late Models and mods, they're the Northern All-Star Late Model schedule's out. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good one too. Yeah, really good actually.
The one I'm really looking forward to, and I know people are that know me are gonna say you're crazy for saying this.
I know which one you're talking about.
I'm looking forward to the. Well, I guess it's going to be called Scott County Fair Raceway, or whatever the hell they want to call it.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to see Super Late Models back at Scottsburg.
And I think it's cool that it's a Mike Jewell Memorial.
The Mike Jewell Classic.
Classic, yeah. That's pretty awesome because Mike Jewell used to rule that place.
Yeah, that's I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I bet that's one of the races that Don O'Neill run this year.
Oh, yeah.
When he said he's going to make a few races, I'm going to say that's one of them.
It'd be awesome to see somebody put Mike in a car.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Mike would do it.
Still get back in it or not.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to that. And another thing I'm looking forward to, I think they got a $10,000 to win race at Bloomington Speedway. Super Late Models at Bloomington, $10,000 to win. So I'm looking forward to that. But we'll get into the Northern All-Star schedule here in a couple weeks once they release the mod schedule full. So we'll go over both of them. And one last thing before we get into race results. Flash and I went to the casino last night. I tried to get some money back that I lost in Tulsa.
Yeah.
So we did pretty good. But the best part about the night was we had some kids that's never been to the casino, and it makes me feel really old when I used to coach them in middle school and high school, and now they're hanging out at the casino with us.
Yeah.
As we're walking out to the car, minus one of them trying to jump a pole and breaking his foot.
Yeah.
Minus that, I'm walking out and I'm just kind of like, damn, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Like I remember when these kids were so young, but that's just part of life. But when we went out and hung out at the casino, and there was about 30 of us that all showed up, and Royce Harmon. This is kind of funny. I was teasing with them. So the Sports Room guys, they arranged this.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to go out after the banquet and everything. So,
yeah.
I had some stuff going on yesterday, and so I called Flash, and we all met up there. And there is like 15 or 16 people, and we bring another 15 people, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, about an hour later, it's just us. Us and the kids. Everybody else has already partied out. So
went home.
Went on home. So I said, damn,
which I guess they did party a little earlier than we did because they was at the
they was at the banquet.
At the banquet, but
a couple of them showed up a little hammered.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good time. Really. Went to a casino, and it's funny watching kids like Ben's never been before.
Yeah.
So like he wins $4. He's like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's just funny. It's just funny to me.
Yeah.
But they had a really good time, and you don't really think about this because they're 21, 22 years old, but all they pretty much do is race.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good for them to have a night where they can just
to get out and do something without working on the race car.
Yeah, besides like, okay, because they're leaving to go to Volusia next week. I'm sure there's going to be some fun nights in Volusia.
Yeah.
But I also know when you got 100-something race cars, there's going to be some nights where it's not so fun.
Right.
So it was good for them to get out and have a good time. That was something that when I got home, they were texting me and had a really good time.
Oh, yeah. One other thing that I don't know if you noticed or seen it this week is the race they're going to have at Alltech this fall. $100,000 Ford.
Yes.
Ford race. That's good. And the funny thing about this was, though, they had it on the other day, so all these people around here are talking about it on Facebook, These guys are saying, well, we can just stay home and run for $150. I was like, how many times are you going to have a chance to run for $100,000? And they're like, well, it's 10.5 hours away, 11 hours away. I said, who cares? We drive that far just to watch races, not much less race for $100,000. If I had a car that was anywhere compatible to anything they got down there, I would be there.
Well,
it's $600 to entry fee, but who cares? I mean,
well, here's the thing. What's really funny about it is, and I'm not going to say the term that I use but the closed-mindedness of it.
Yeah.
When I know Barry gets hit on like a lot, like he gets knocked, but he tries shit that nobody else will do. Absolutely no. He's got $100,000 to win a front-wheel drive race. $100,000 to win. I mean, he tries shit that nobody will do. And guess what? It's the guys that go and race that event. Yeah. They're going to be super happy that they had an event for themselves all weekend.
Yeah. But you're never going to get. I mean, if that's what your class is that you can afford to run, you're never going to get a chance to run for that kind of money again. No. I mean, ever, probably.
No, because they may have a couple of them, but it's going to be like anything else. There's going to be so much bitching from everybody else that he's going to quit messing with it. Yeah. And go back and do the stock car mods and late model stuff. Yeah. But, I don't understand the closed-mindedness of people, and not only in our area, in all short track racing. Yeah. This goes on everywhere. Like, all right, I'm going to derail for a second. We may not talk about race results. So one thing that I see in all of motorsports, and it was Kenny Wallace said this a long time ago, and he's talked about it a little more lately. But he talks about competition will kill you. Yeah. And it will. I agree with that. But I heard something a long time ago, and I heard it about sports, but my sport is racing, and it falls right in line with that. This guy said, "Don't let sports make you stupid." And I say this about racing. Don't let racing make you stupid. Yeah. If the race pays $100,000 to win, and as soon as the guy puts the thing out, hey, this is what we're going to do, the first 5 comments are negative. Yeah. You need to do this. How are you going to tech this? Who's going to do that? I'm like, shut the hell up. Yeah. It's paying $100,000. It don't matter if he tells you to run with 3 freaking wheels. Yeah. Race with 3 wheels. Yeah. So, like, don't let motorsports make you stupid. Like really don't. Like, there's racetracks that I know it's not all about the money. I say that all the time. It's not about the money, but that's the number one excuse everybody uses.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't afford to go run there. What do you mean? You go race track A that pays $100 to win.
Yeah.
It costs you $50 to get in. It costs you $40 in fuel to get there. Yep. So you're not going to make a dime at all.
Yeah.
If you win, you lost $10 for the night.
Right.
Okay. Well, that other one's 2 hours away. Okay. It costs you same $40 to get in.
Yeah.
It costs you another $40 in fuel. That one pays $500 to win.
Yeah.
If you run fifth, you're going to make the same amount of money as you made winning at the other place.
Yeah.
And you got to experience a whole nother racetrack. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I never get it.
That's it. It's actually a one-track mind.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah, you can't say it any better. I mean,
we got a lot of one-track wonders.
Yeah, like I don't understand, and not only that, like the whole like motorsports, the streaming, the media, the podcast, everything. Everybody gets on something, and they want it to be a competition. They want it to be something stupid, and it's like, well, guys. This sport won't be around if everybody don't work together.
Yeah. Point
blank period. Like racetracks that's bitching about streaming, well, guess what? In 10 years, if you're not involved with any streaming platform, you're going to be extinct. Because the money off the revenue off the streaming platform is going to be way greater than the people coming through the gate.
Yeah.
That's just is what it is. Now, are some racetracks getting raw in the deal right now? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Because we're in the first stage of it.
Yeah.
But you need this. The younger generation, they watch their phones, they play on their video games.
Yeah.
They are on TikTok if it's open back again or if it's shut down.
Yeah.
They're on Instagram. But what they're doing is, they see these races on Dirt Vision, on Flow, on Hunt to Front TV, and they associate with those guys.
Yeah.
They associate, that racetrack's pretty cool. I want to go see that place.
Yeah.
And these are for kids that's in our sport. Kids that don't know nothing about our sport. The only way they're going to find out if they roll across a TikTok video.
Yeah.
So you need the streaming.
Yeah.
Like you need the streaming, just like podcasts. There needs to be podcasts. Back in the day, there was the racing with Dio, and last week's Jack Slash. We talked about Jack Slash. He was the original content creator.
Yeah.
He did interviews. He got kicked out of the Chili Bowl for doing live interviews.
Right.
You're putting your sport out there to people that don't really know it. I had this discussion the other night with someone at the slot car track. They really like our old racetrack segments. And I said, we like doing them.
Yeah.
We really like doing them. I said, but what we're doing, we're trying to gather everybody in on the sport. I said, the problem is when we talk local, our numbers are cut in half.
Yeah.
It's because we got people that listen from California, from Illinois, from Wisconsin. If they don't know what we're talking about, they just don't check in that week.
They're just going to tune it out. Yeah.
So, but we want to talk, local. That's why we're doing the old racetrack segment. That was one of the coolest things that, when we started this, that's what we're going to do. But, realistically, everybody needs to work together. And now that we've got people, that's out and about that have no idea who Raymond Johnson was or who Ricky Puckett was or didn't even know what the Sportsdrome Speedway was. They talked to Mike Gibson, and I've had them reach out and say, hey, I'm going to go check out the Sportsdrome. That guy sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I actually had somebody tell me I'm going to check out the Sportsdrome. I've never been there, from Tennessee.
Yeah.
I've never been to the Sportsdrome, but I kind of like the way the promoter, carried himself on your show. That goes a long way.
Yeah.
So guys, don't let this make you stupid. Really don't.
Yeah.
If someone's got something positive or negative to say about your racetrack, your series, your podcast, your radio show, your newspaper article, if they got something negative or positive to say, just let it be. It's not the end of the world. Just don't always be an asshole. Don't always be a dick.
Yeah.
It's real simple.
Yeah.
Not that we weren't even going to talk about that, but when you're talking about that $100,000 to win crate race, there's so much.
Yeah.
Like I want to do a show on name me what driver said this.
Yeah.
And what, because like
fill in the blank.
Yeah, there's so much negative in all I mean, social media. You can pick up your phone right now, look on Facebook, look through 5 posts.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 3 of them are negative.
Yeah.
Somebody's bitching about the service they got at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Somebody's bitching about the track. Something. Excuse me. But somebody's bitching about something. Just quit being negative all the damn time.
Yeah.
I mean,
enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this. All right, guys, racers. I know you want to qualify, start on the pole, win every lap. It's entertainment. All this is entertainment.
Yeah.
All of this is totally like, as much as you think your modified team, your late model team, your Hornet team, or your Ford, as much as your Ford, your street stock, as much as you think that is the end all be all, I promise you, if you don't go tomorrow, the racetrack's still going to be there.
Yep.
I promise you, if you don't, screw it. I'm not watching this TV show. I'm pissed off. I'm boycotting it. Guess what?
It'll be there.
It's still going to be there. So try to make the best of it.
Yeah.
I mean, just try to make the best of it. Quit bitching about everytheverything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for everybody that's in this whole industry.
Yeah.
There's way too much negative, and it's like that. It's like that on the pavement side. It's like that on the dirt side. I think Facebook is another thing. Facebook, don't let Facebook make you stupid.
Yeah.
So, now that we went 20 minutes rambling on, unnecessary shit.
Yeah.
How about this? How about we get into our interview, then we come back and we cover a couple of race results and talk about next week's events.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of going on. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's Deep Dives. It's time for the Trading Sliders Deep Dives presented by Kentucky Clutch and Performance. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this week's Deep Dive, we have Owensboro's own Jeff Green. This is kind of funny. Jeff and I are both in Tulsa, Oklahoma for 2 totally different events and run into each other. So, Jeff, explain to the people how 2 guys from Kentucky run into each other in Oklahoma.
Well, I'm out here. You're out here for the midget race, and I'm in the next building over running my RC midget and RC sprint car, radio control cars. Yeah. I think it's the biggest dirt race that RC is sanctioned. An RC race is sanctioned in the whole year. So there's about 800 entries here, or 700 and some odd entries, and we can try. We're here from Monday to Saturday, and just trying to win a driller of our own.
Well, that's what on our podcast here we say this a lot. Racers race. It doesn't have to be. I'm at the racetrack every weekend. It could be RC cars. It can be go karts, and watch on Flow or Dirt Vision. And racers still race because it consumes your life.
Yeah. I've been racing since I was 8, and I'm 62. So to be able to field a race car or have a race team, I don't think I'd ever be. I don't want to say stupid enough, but to be an owner.
We haven't been stupid enough.
I don't know why anybody would ever want to own a race team, but to have your own RC cars, they cost money, but there's fractions of what a real race team would be, and I'm able to still drive it. I put my hands on the car and my head and my mind and trying to make it better, to make it go around the track better. So. I'm learning a lot. This is, I think, 5th or 6th year I've been here. I've met a lot of great friends, and I think, we want to come out here and win, but if we have a good time, that's what it's all about.
Well, that's what we say on this show all the time. Every person I interview, we always say, racing, it's about competition, yes. It's about winning, yes. But when it's over and done with, it's about the relationships.
You're right.
It's about the friendships you make. It's about the trips you make. Like a lot of people don't understand, the 10, 12-hour trips. A lot of times for me, I wouldn't say it's the funnest part because it does get tiresome going to 80, 90 races a year. But at the end, me and my buddy, we always sit down and BS is like, man, you remember that one time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
memories.
You produce memories through racing industry.
We do.
And I'm doing this off the top of my head. Was it 99 or 2000?
2000.
Okay. In 2000, you won it was still called Busch Grand National then, wasn't it?
Busch Series, yes, sir.
Yes, it's called the Busch Grand National Series. Little boy from Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
Went nationwide and won the Busch Grand National Series. First off, the difference in racing now and racing then, would you want to do it nowadays?
Well, things have changed so much. I don't, to be 20 or 30 years old, I probably would be. Yeah, I'd want to do it. But looking back on it and looking how it is today, I don't think it'd be as much fun. I mean, we did it. We did it for a living, of course. We had to make a living doing it, but I think we did it more for a hobby and more for fun and the competitiveness of it. And you know, back then we built our own race cars. I worked on them each day during the week, and some of them I even got in the truck and hauled them to the racetrack. So growing up like that, those days are over for the Busch Series or the Xfinity Series, whatever it is, Truck Series. You know, you never see drivers do that anymore. You never see drivers work on their cars. So to be able to go back and do that again, maybe. But the way it is today, I don't think I would enjoy it very much.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. In all of racing, I'm one of the biggest race fans you ever met. Former driver myself, not nowhere near on your level, but you know, former racer.
I just got lucky, man.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
I got lucky in meeting the right people at the right time, being in the sport at the right time, not having to go chase money and bring it to the teams. Actually, owners back then they were looking for talent. They had the sponsors. They had the money to run the race team. The driver, all he had to do was worry about driving a race car as fast as he could and trying to bring it home where you could you not have to rebuild it each week when you tear it up. So I think, you know, back then the owners, that's what they look for in drivers. And again, I just got lucky in the right, you know, be in the right time at the right moment and be around the right people to be able to give me that next chance.
Well, let's see. What you say, you got lucky because you're humble. I don't think you got lucky. It was the talent that you know that opened their eyes. Is like, oh man, this kid can do it.
Yeah.
He can do it all. He can work on the car. He can drive the car. Short track race. Like the talent level is off the charts. But there's very few kids that you see that can actually work on race cars anymore.
Right. Yeah, and you know, good for them. I mean, I don't blame them for not being able to work on a car, but it's just that era. You know, I mean, it's changed so much, and I really think, you know, me able to work on a car, when I know something's going wrong or I know something is happening, I can put my finger on it a lot quicker for the crew chief or for the people that's working on the car. You know, in practice, we change things. So me knowing the car in and out, I thought helped me in that situation.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, because I've had a couple of retired drivers on here, and you know, a lot of guys, when they leave the sport, they just totally leave the sport. They don't go to the racetrack. They don't even follow it on TV. Are you a guy that, do you still keep up, or is racing still your passion, or is it, I did it for so long that I'm good?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of both ways. I watch it on TV. You know, I still have a few friends that's around. My brother, David, he's kind of head of safety at NASCAR, so I keep up through him a little bit. And Mark, still my other brother, our middle brother, is still in the sport. So those guys still live in North Carolina, and they're in the middle of it. So I still keep up a little bit around them. I watch the races. They're very exciting. I mean, they're, you know, pretty close races, and that part of the sport hadn't changed. But I don't miss the racetrack. I miss the people. I don't miss traveling. I do miss the competition. I do miss the challenge that we went through each and every week to be as good as we could, and that's, you know. But again, I enjoy hunting. I enjoy being at home. I have a shop of my own that I work on hot rods, build stuff for way too.
Enjoy the work part of traveling, because you traveled to Tulsa, Oklahoma to run RC cars.
Yeah, well, that's entertainment for us. So I've got a couple of friends from Evansville that we come out together, and you know, we split the bill. So it's fun. Only not fun part about it is being away from my wife. You know, wish hopefully one of these days I can talk her to come with me, so we can enjoy a little bit together. But you know, I live about 15 miles from Owensboro, Kentucky, out in the country, and there'll be weeks go by other than going to church. I don't ever even go to town, so I stay around the house working in my shop.
Yeah, well, I totally get that, because I put bodies on cars, I put clips on cars. After work in the evenings, that's how I pay for this trip to Tulsa and the trip to speedweeks. I totally get it. Is there anything, because Kentucky Motor Speedway, it's where you grew up racing, it's your hometown. Is there any way where you're just thinking, like, one day you ride by and like, you know, I would like to help bring that place back to life, or is it, I do not want that work?
No, I really don't like racing anymore, to tell you the truth, that much anyway. I mean, I enjoy it. I I enjoy watching it, but I don't want to put myself to work. I'm actually in the spring and in the fall I help my in-laws farm, so that gives me time in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Driving the vehicle, I plant for them and I harvest for them. So that's a little bit of time away from home, and that's enough recreation for me. I don't think I'd want a headache of a racetrack or anything to do with anything like that.
Well, especially today, social media and racing, it could. When it first started happening, I was a big advocate. I was like, this is going to take our sport to the next level. And then after seeing what it does, not just in racing, but just in life itself. So social media is, it could be great, but oh my goodness.
It could be the knife too.
Yeah, it's so I don't know how racetracks do it, because I announced for a touring series, and as soon as we put a schedule out, as soon as we put a race out, it's boom. You know, you get 3 people that like it, 700 people. It tells you how you can do it better.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm with you on that. I don't know if I could ever run a racetrack.
Right.
I mean, I step back, and just like anybody else, you see somebody who's like, well, I think it could be better if they do this, but when it comes down, it's not my money, so it's not my decision. Yeah. I'm, if you want me to announce, I'll announce. You want me to help tech, I'll help tech.
Right. The Heath Helton, I don't know if you know him. He runs at Salem. He lives in Owensboro, and I help it on a CRA street stock. Yeah. And I help him just a little bit set it up, and I don't ever go to the racetrack. I have a few times to help him test, but as far as weekly shows or monthly shows, however much they run, I just help him set it up, and I don't help him maintain it. That's about all I want to do with it. So.
Well, let me ask you this about Heath. Was you the one that talked him into the leaf spring car, or was?
No, that was all on his own. But he did well. That was a good.
Yeah, that was a very good decision to make the change.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's done what last year was. I don't think he could do anything wrong, so I'm glad for him.
No. When you have a season like that, that's you count that for your blessing.
Yes, sir.
Those are hard to find.
Yeah.
1 year I won so many races that if I ran second, I was in a bad mood for a week. The next year, and oh my goodness, it was terrible.
Right, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, he's worked for it. I mean, he is. He puts the time in. He does a lot with a little, and I'm proud for him.
Yeah. And another thing, you talk about Salem, and I talk about Kentucky Motor Speedway growing up. How much did running on the high banks, because short track racing, it was totally different back then, but you still had the high speeds of Salem and Winchester. How much did running on the high banks prepare you, for going to like Daytona and stuff? Because I know the tracks aren't the same, but you got a lot of G's in the corner.
So we'd run Whitesville. I had a little mini modified, and we run Whitesville on Sunday night. We run Winchester on Saturday night, and I think Bowling Green on Friday night, and change a gear and go to the next racetrack. So it was fun, but I think traveling around there, I think Nashville was my turning point as far as, because I got in a big car. I got in a late model, full body car, basically like a Busch car. And the first time I went to Nashville, and it was not a high bank, but it was banked enough where it gave me the sensation, So Daytona and Talladega, they're kind of easy, really. I mean, it's just hold it wide open. The rules that we had when I got there is pretty much wide open, and definitely wide open by yourself. I mean, the draft is a little bit different, but going to Charlotte and Darlington and places like that was a little bit different.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because like Frank Kimmel, he's always been a friend of the family. Mm-hmm. And when I was talking to Frank, as a kid growing up, I'd always be like teasing him, like, "Yeah, you're going to Talladega." He goes, "That's like driving down the Gene Snyder."
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's like driving down the Gene Snyder." He always told me, going to Flat Rock, it was a little quarter mile, and it had just a little enough banking with no grip. He's like, "I'd much rather go to Daytona."
No doubt, yes, sir.
Yeah. So
there's a lot worse evils out there than Talladega and Daytona, Talladega for sure.
Yeah, that's funny. Like I said, I really appreciate you coming on, especially out here racing. And I kind of bothered you. I was like, "Hey, can you do this?" And you're like, "Yeah," which I'm really grateful for that. But one thing I want to ask you, because I know you say you keep up. With the NASCAR stuff, do you keep up with any short track racing at all anymore? Besides, besides helping Heath, obviously, and obviously you're doing something right because he's winning all the time.
Yeah, well, I don't know. No, I don't really keep up with it. I don't really watch Flow much. I mean, you watch about every race on TV, so I don't really do that much. Tell you the truth, the only races I really watch is the NASCAR races, Xfinity and truck races, and the Cup races. So. Dale Jr., he's a good friend, and he's been, I think he's he's bringing short track racing back. So without him, I don't think that would ever turn like it did. But so it's good for all the short track racers. Hopefully they'll get a chance to be able to make it big one of these days.
Well, that's because I grew up on the pavement stuff too, racing at Louisville Speedway, and I raced at Salem and Sportstrom and Whitesville, the old Whitesville, the real Whitesville, the good one, before they before Willie decided he was gonna make it a monster, but
right.
I transitioned over to dirt racing when Louisville Speedway closed because, well, obviously we really didn't have no other options because Salem was only racing once a month then. So I translated over, and I become a big Tony Stewart fan at that time. And, I follow dirt more than I do pavement now. But I'm still in touch. I still pay attention to everything that goes on. And I think what Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and even Kyle Busch now, and like you said, Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick over on the car stuff, they're giving back, and that's kind of reminds me of like when I was a kid, when you guys would go race like Greenville Pickens Speedway, and you have the local guys that would try to make a race. I mean, it's just giving back. I think short track racing is in good hands right now. Especially with the streaming and everything. So we're gonna have to get you on flow just a little bit, just catch up with a little bit.
I don't know about that. I think I'm gonna work on my cars here. So, and I race a lot too. Well, I race a lot, but I run a elite racing league. It's we run Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of each and every week. So that's fun. I mean, to be able to run the tracks, Charlotte, Daytona, Talladega, all those tracks that I run in real life, to be able to sit down and watch a computer screen basically and drive a car around there, it's unbelievable. If I could smell it and I could feel it, I feel like it's exactly the same as it was when I was in reality. So it's pretty cool.
Well, that's funny you say that because I've raced at Eldora before, and the kids when I raced and come out, the kids in the neighborhood, they were like, is this what it's like? I'm like, it's basically what it's like. Yeah. It's about as close as you're going to get.
Yes, sir.
With the only thing I don't like not having the force feedback. You got to tinker with that to get the force feed right. Yeah. It's better on the pavement than the dirt stuff. Like on the pavement, it's the force feed and the steering wheel's pretty close.
Okay.
On the dirt stuff, I think the steering's just a little bit too quick.
Right.
But that's just me nitpicking. But I love iRacing and all video games really. I think it's a big advocate for our sport, and most importantly, the youth of our sport. If they can play iRacing and see it, then they'll get into it because kids aren't going to the racetrack like they used to. Like you and myself, we grew up at the racetrack.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Kids nowadays, they don't go to the racetrack like that. And when they do, they're on their phone the whole time. So.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't take it away from them. They've been. I mean, when we were growing up, I mean, when it rained, we'd get a popsicle stick and put our number on it and run them down the gutter, We'd race them down the gutter. So those days are over and they'll never be back. But so you can't blame the kids for it. That's their surroundings and what they grew up around. So I don't know. It's I enjoy our racing though. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of good guys in our league, and there's 45 guys, maybe 7th or 8th. If those guys screw up in front of me, I might run 5th, but it's good times.
Well, it's funny you say that because I coached high school basketball for a long time, and a lot of those kids that I coach, even a couple of them now race, and we all get together and play the World of Outlaw game on PS5. And it's pretty much the same thing, we all get together and we put our headphones on and we play. And,
that's fun.
It's a good time. And to me, I can stay in touch with the kids and keep up with what's going on, and also still kind of pick on them a little bit.
Yeah. That's funny.
But now they're getting to the age now that I don't want to pick on them too much because they can take me.
That's all right.
Yeah. Whoa, hold on. One thing first. When he says that he's he just enjoys coming out here and having fun, he's taking notes when I walk up to the table. He's got a notepad. He's working on his tires, working on his controller. So don't let him fool you. He's still as competitive as ever.
Oh yeah.
He still wants to win. He's on the phone. He's calling in the hot setup.
I got a friend back in Evansville that I wished he was here because he's just so intelligent about RC car, about racing, period. So he was giving me pointers what he think I need, what I thought, and even though this is my 5th or 6th year, the track's different each and every year. So to get I'm 62 years old and I forget very easily, so that's why I have to take notes so I can refer back what I did yesterday. And I'm running 3 cars out here, so when I get done with one, I write it down what it did, so when I go to the next one, I don't have to remember what that first one did, so that's why I write everything down.
Well, see, us here in the dirt world, we're still in Mr. Green here. He's racing a sprint car, he's racing a late model, and it's all on dirt.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
He's converted.
Yeah.
Good luck with the RC, and we're gonna have to get you to a dirt race.
Okay,
we're
we'll
gonna
do
have to
because I like
Dave before we come on.
Uh-huh.
I keep telling Dave every week. I said, Dave, I'm gonna take you to a dirt race this week. No, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then I talked him into getting Flo, and he comes in comes in my work and goes, "Did you see Larson last night?" I said, "Yeah, I seen him."
Yeah.
And he actually called me while I'm out here.
That's funny.
Did you see the other night? I said, "Dave, I was sitting in the stand." Oh yeah, I forgot. But I'm gonna get Dave, and maybe I can get you on the same
That's
trip.
right, yeah.
You're not too far from Evansville, so I'm gonna pick you up and take you to Hobstock one night.
We'll do it.
All right,
Yeah.
then. But thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, guys, there you go. That was our interview with Jeff Green. I caught up with Jeff in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and one really cool thing is, so when we ran into each other, let me backslash this. Tell you how this goes down. So we run into each other in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So, and he goes, "Fellow Kentuckian, huh?" And we start talking, and I said, "Hey, you come on the." I know he just did the Dirty Mo podcast with Dale Jr.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I said, "You come on the podcast?" And first thing I thought he was going to say was like, "Nah, I'm down here." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So we come on and we talk about it. This is one of those interviews, Flash, that I wish that I would have recorded before the interview.
Yeah.
Because we talked for an hour and a half.
Yeah. we seem to do a lot of those.
Yeah.
That would be better.
Yeah. We talked for an hour and a half beforehand, but I didn't want to ask him the same exact things because he, like I said, he was just on the Earnhardt interview, Earnhardt podcast, and did like an hour and a half with him. So I told him, we'll keep it around 20 minutes, and but we still talked for over an hour. And Jeff Green, he doesn't go to the races anymore. I asked him, and he goes, "Well, my buddies aren't there, so I don't even go."
Yeah.
I said, "So you just got done with racing and gave it all up?" "Oh, no. He still works on race cars and works on street rides. That's what he does. He's putting cars together." He's like, "No, I'm still working." And the funny thing was, he goes, "I play iRacing Monday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night." I'm like, "You mean play iRacing?" He's like, "No, I got a league. There's like 40 of us."
Oh, yeah.
And he's racing RC radio control cars on Saturday. I said, "So the guy that quit racing, that doesn't go on the racetrack, you're still doing racing related stuff 5 nights a week." He goes, "Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I am still in racing."
Yeah.
So, it was real funny. I was saying, racers race, and Jeff Green, he's a racer. He said he don't miss going to the airport no more, but he misses going to the racetrack and hanging out with his buddies. And, and I get that. And that's what I told him. And he said that's what was real cool about that Tulsa trip. Him and a buddy of his, they've been going for like 5 or 6 years now. And he said, "At first, I don't have no business being here, but he said I'm starting to figure it out." But I didn't know this about Jeff Green, but he grew up doing carpet RC racing. Like, he's always raced RC cars, and now he's transferred over to the dirt world. And he's like, the track changes this. He's got a notebook, Flash. I'm not kidding you. It's 3 inches thick.
Oh yeah.
Every time the car goes out, you tell he writes it down. What did this? And I was teasing him. He goes, "No, that's just because I'm running 3 cars and I forget what car does what." But yes, thank you to Jeff Green, one of Kentucky's own. A little kid from Owensboro, Kentucky, won the championship. And he said, "What's crazy is back then I worked on the car, drove the car, drove the truck and trailer." He said,
Done it all.
Yeah, he was like, "I don't know if I could race nowadays."
Yeah.
Just show up and race. He said, "That'd be nice, but I don't know if I could do that." But
Show up, be a helmet carrier.
yeah. So, but really, really fun interview. I really enjoyed the interview. That's one good thing about Tulsa, man. You never know who you're going to run into.
Yeah.
Because, I asked him, I said, "You want to go over here and watch the midgets?" "Nah, I'm just over here racing my RC cars."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, you want?" No, I'm good." And so there's people from all walks of motorsports out there. So it was really fun.
Yeah.
Quick race results real quick. We're not going to do a complete rundown on everything because we went a little longer than we planned.
Yeah.
in the opener.
Yeah.
So Kurt got me on the soapbox of guys bitching, and I was like, well, let's.
Yeah.
I could still go on about that. We could do 4 hours of that. So we'll save that for another time. We'll let somebody else make a big bitch about something, and then we'll go on about that. But Ocala did open up Thursday night with Speedweeks, and like I said, Speedweeks is here. Ocala opened up Thursday, and Kyle Strickler won the mod race from 13th spot.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a race.
He was rolling.
Yeah, it was a really good race, like I said. But Kyle Strickler.
He didn't look real good in the heat race, but then the feature he figured it out. And
he said that the track being so heavy, he loosened the car up as much as he could, and
right.
Kyle Strickler is one of those guys, just like Jimmy Owens, and we're gonna talk about Jimmy Owens here in a second. But like, I wouldn't mind for there to be a Lucas Oil, like the USMTS, and just have a modified national tour, because guys like Kyle Strickler, Jimmy Owens, Ricky Thornton Jr., those guys are modified racers, and usually the guys in the late model world that are modified racers, they're the ones that don't go in and say, well, we had a hole down here in the track tonight, let's not race.
Yeah.
They're blasting through it.
Right.
But I kind of wish there was a major modified touring series. I really do.
Yeah.
Because of guys like Kyle Strickler. Kyle Strickler is a guy that said he don't like racing the late model. He don't like the way the cars drive. He said he likes the modified shit. You got to manhandle them. And then there's guys that don't like the mods that like the late models, but
right, goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways. But Kyle Strickler, if there was a major modified tour where it all made sense, he would be a guy that I would love to see in a modified full time.
Yeah.
And then Friday, Ocala, Jason Garver picked up the modified win at Ocala Friday night. And Jason Garver he's a local guy. He runs late models, modifieds. He got about 5 cars. That time we were down there in Flash.
Yeah.
He was the one that ran the Ford. Ran Cray late model and the street stock. So he picked up the win there. And then Friday night at Volusia, the super late models, they had 59 of them. The opening World of Outlaw race, and the Reaper Ryan Gustin picked up the win out of Marshalltown, Iowa. Jonathan Davenport was second, and I'm hard on Davenport a lot, and I'm gonna give him credit when credit's due, because he did say that. The racetrack was a little rough, but you can't bitch at the track because they did everything they could with the weather they had.
Right.
And usually Davenport's one that, I got a real short fuse with him.
Yeah. And he come out and said to me, he said, man, I usually just suck down here. He said, it's just not for me, but I think he's working on figuring it out, though.
Yeah, I think he's. Well, here's the thing about Davenport.
And he didn't have to be there.
Yeah.
He went there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at.
To get better.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to be there. He's running Lucas this year. But he went there. He unloaded his car knowing the track was going to be bad. And honestly, the track was not terrible. It just had a little character in it. Yeah. But that's easy for me to say. I'm not running 140 mile an hour in the corner. But usually Davenport's one that always got a problem with the way racetracks are. Yeah. And like I said, I'm gonna give him a pass on this one.
And his car looks badass this year.
It does. It looks really good.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
Looks good on the track. I mean.
Well, did you hear what he said? I went and did all this testing, and we really liked the car. And then we come home, and they was like, "What about making the cars black?" He said, "We got 5 of them we got to do." So they did all those bodies in like 2 weeks, 5 complete bodies and wraps, and because they got 5 cars. That means they got 10 to 12 bodies. Yeah. So there was a lot of work done in a couple weeks there.
Sheet metal guy was busy.
Yeah, I feel sorry for that dude.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to say about Friday night, shout out to Cody Overton. Yeah. From 23rd to 3rd. Yeah,
he was flying. I was actually hoping he'd get up a little further.
Yeah, well, he won his heat race last night, and he was saying, he's always been a Rocket guy, and he's in a Longhorn. He's like, they've got me convinced. Yeah. So I like Cody Overton. Everybody that
I like him because he looks like he's still having fun every time they interview.
Yeah, that's
like he's having so much fun.
That Overton bunch, Brandon and Cody, I don't know what their parents did raising them. They did it right. Yeah, because those kids just have a good time. They don't give a shit. They just want to race. Right. So something about South Georgia down there that the kids, they kind of remind me of Shane. That's why Shane Clanton was. Yeah. And then there in later years, Shane Clanton got grouchy, but we all do when we get older. Yeah. So that was Friday at Volusia. And then Saturday at Ocala, $7,500 to win, 75-lap street stock race. I wanted to mention this. Ivan Lloyd picked up the win.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Ivan Lloyd's name in a while. Former steel block late model racer, went super late model racing for a while.
Yep.
But I haven't seen Ivan Lloyd's name in a while. One thing about that street stock deal I was going to say before we ran out of time to actually cover it. Spencer Hughes and Devin Moran were running street stocks down there. And those street stocks, they put on a show there. It's pretty exciting, really.
Yeah. And I also seen a local guy, well, kind of local to us, was there. Tyler Nicely was there. Yeah,
Nicely just had his knee surgery. He was going to take the late model down, but he's actually gone down to crew chief for Cole Holloway all week.
Oh, okay.
So they the street stock, the first night he didn't run.
Right.
He got out and practiced, and track was just a little bit too rough. He's a little sore.
Yeah.
But he did run the other 2 nights.
Yeah, I seen he ran 5th in the big race.
Yeah, in the big race.
Saturday night, yeah.
But Nicely's down there, but he's going to crew chief for Followay's going to Volusia all week.
Yeah.
And Nicely's going to crew chief for him. But yeah, Nicely, he was just doing this kind of like a physical therapy type thing. So he had knee surgery. He's finally up walking around decently. And Saturday night's mod winner went to Devin Dixon. I think he was like a 10-time East Bay track champion. So I think that's pretty cool. East Bay, not cool that East Bay shut down, but Ocala took the races over, and a former track champion, picked up the win. So, and it paid $7,000 to win.
Yeah.
So $7,000 to win mod and $7,500 to win street stock race.
Yeah.
I really wish they would have got more than the 28 mods that they got. But I understand because the mod guys are going to be down there all this week and all next week.
Yeah.
And most of the guys that 90% of the guys that run modifieds got a real job, and they're not professional racers. So. It is a little tough to be strung out that long,
That long, yeah. It's hard to take. You don't want to take both your weeks vacation. Just do that. You gotta save something for the family.
Well, here's the thing: if you took 2 weeks of vacation to do that, you still need to come up with a week.
Yeah.
You still need a week of sick time to stay down there the whole time.
Exactly.
Chase Holland started 12th and ran 3rd in that race. So
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, the Mississippi racer. I think he's gonna. I think he lost his late model deal, so I think he's gonna be back in mods full time.
Yeah.
Seen something where I think he might be going. He's going to run for the UP National Points this year.
Oh yeah.
He's going to spend a lot of time in the Midwest in the summer, stay up here in Illinois. So, we have another hot shoe that's going to be in the area.
Yeah,
so,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, just as if Illinois didn't need any more, tough competitors. Well, we're going to bring another one in.
The races over in Illinois are never any good.
Yeah. I don't think there is such thing as a bad race in Illinois.
I don't think so. Any track you go to there.
Yeah, that's it always.
Well, all of them that I've been to anyway.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. I haven't been to all of them, but I've been to 6 or 7.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, Flash. This is what I'm gonna talk good about Illinois. We went to a racetrack last year, and I announced I did a midget and a sprint car event at a track that hasn't had a race in 10 years.
Yeah.
Both features were phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's just an Illinois thing. The racetracks are good. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
And last night at Volusia, Garrett Alberson picked up the win from 3rd. Then Davenport was 2nd, and Max Blair was 3rd. And Alberson and Davenport were throwing bombs at each other.
Yeah.
It was almost like they were racing at Illinois Bull Ring.
Yeah.
On a track that you really can't do that because of the air. And that's another thing we're not even going to talk about because it will be a 4-hour show about late model and air.
We're going to rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah. I don't even want to get started on that. But if I told you this, if I told you that Garrett Alberson has already won as many races before Speed Weeks is officially started, before then he won all last year.
Yeah.
Would you believe me? Because he has.
One of the biggest race of his career last night.
Yeah.
So.
And out at the Wild West Shootout, he was fast every night.
Oh, yeah.
So Garrett Alberson and him have stumbled onto something. And one thing I seen that was funny, he said, I sure hope we don't tear this car up. So evidently it's just that one car that he likes.
Yeah.
So,
that's that good.
Yeah, I sure hope we don't tear this car up. But one thing I wanted to say about the late model race last night, hat shake, hat tip to Jimmy Owens.
Oh yeah.
I thought the O show was going to pull one off last night. Ended up breaking a A-frame or a ball joint.
I think it's lower A-frame they had. Yeah.
Ended up breaking the A-frame, and I think he still managed to save it in 5th.
Still stayed 5th. Yeah. So it was good. I think it happened with about 4 or 5 to go when that started breaking on him.
And one cool thing about Jimmy Owens is on this whole deal is this is kind of his own, because Jimmy Owens builds race cars. He's still, Adam Ogle just left yesterday to go to a Volusia this week. He's in a Loose Gruff race car. He's in a Jimmy Owens race car. So, but Jimmy Owens, it's kind of a hybrid. It's like a Rocket / Bloomquist with a little bit of Longhorn.
And a little Rayburn.
And a little Rayburn, yeah. You got swing arm on the left rear. So Jimmy Owens he might be onto something. We might
he looked really good.
Yeah, he's looked good both nights, really.
Yeah.
And I think he ran that car once or twice at the end of the year last year.
And he wasn't feeling good all weekend, they said, too. Because they went up to do an interview with him, and he said, I can't talk to you because I can't talk.
Yeah.
Told the girl. He said.
But just like Jimmy Owens, being polite when he's feeling bad.
Yeah.
But I think Owens ran that car a few times last year, and it didn't work out. They were having an issue. He actually, I was talking to Adam and Jimmy, and he actually ran his car at like East Alabama, the National 100 and stuff. Set fast time, but he was having rear end issues with what. But whatever it was, they figured the damn thing out.
I think they figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah. At least on big tracks. It's at least figured out on big tracks. But so it would be good if we see Jimmy Owens back up front. Maybe Ricky Thornton joining the crew. Owens is like, you know what? I'm gonna show everybody I can still do it.
Yeah.
So,
I still want to be his hero.
Yeah. I'm fighting for my life here, boys.
Yeah.
But upcoming events this week, starting off Monday and Tuesday on Hunter Front TV. We got $10,000 to win Super Late Model Hunter Front National Tour. There's a ton of young kids running the Hunter Front Tour this year. With the late model guys that's down there, because it's about a 2-hour drive from Volusia to Needmore. So they've got a few nights off before they got to be back at Alltech, and it's actually closer from Needmore to Alltech than it is from Needmore to Volusia. So one thing I will say about Hunter Front, because I'm not a huge fan of theirs. But one thing positive that I will say, they do a damn good job picking their schedule and seeing where races should and shouldn't be ran.
Yeah.
They do a good job at that. Now, they may be flaky on some other stuff, but as far as picking out where we need to put a race in the schedule, they do a damn good job at that.
Well, somebody was talking about the other day about these guys need to, like when speedweeks is going on, they need to figure out like the way those guys usually go home. They need to pick a couple tracks on the way home and a couple tracks on the way there, and that way everybody gets a piece of the pie, Yeah.
Well,
which makes sense.
Well, I won't say almost, but it was kind of like that because Winterfest in Tennessee at Winchester Speedway was always the week after Speed Week. So a lot of guys would stay down for 3 or 4 days with their family, go to the beach. Yeah. And then they would catch Winterfest or 411. All that stuff was coming back home. So because they had the Sweetheart race and everything. So it always was kind of like that. But there needs to be more more people working together on scheduling. But honestly though, the Hunter Front guys did a damn good job here because the guys had Sunday off. They're gonna race Monday and Tuesday and then be at Alltech on Wednesday for Wednesday through Saturday. Alltech Raceway, Lucas Oil late models will be on flow. I don't know what the support vision is yet. I honestly, I didn't even look it up. I just knew that Lucas Oil was going to be there. But I'm hoping it's the street stocks. Yeah. Because the street stocks at Alltech, they put on a big race every year, like $10,000 or $15,000 win race, and they like as much as I love modifieds, the street stocks at Alltech are pretty badass. So hopefully the street stocks will be the support at least one night. Yeah. And then Thursday through Saturday will be the first sprint car race in the United States this year. ASCS National Tour will be in town for those 3 events. And there's a ton of young kids that's running that schedule this year, the ASCS National Tour. And not only that, I've seen something where there's like, because the World Outlaw season hasn't started yet. Yeah. These races don't go against their races that they can run because they haven't officially ran the first World of Outlaw race. Yeah. So like half the World Outlaw field is going to be at Volusia getting tested this week for next week's World of Outlaw stuff. Yeah. So that's a pretty cool deal. I think they're expecting something like 60 or 70 360 sprint cars down there at Volusia this week. So if the track slicks off like it did. Yeah. And they're going to be UMP Modifieds will be there with them. Yeah. So there will be some. I don't know exactly how many because the Gator points don't start till the following weekend.
Right.
But I seen where there's a bunch of guys like Ray Bollinger and them's already down there.
Yeah.
They're down there ready to go. Actually, there was like 10 or 15 guys more that was at Ocala, but with the track being what they thought was going to be rough, they just decided to save their stuff.
Yeah.
But the racetrack really wasn't rough.
Right.
It's usually about how it usually works out.
Yeah.
And this week locally, if you want to catch a race, the Southern All-Star Super Late Models and the Cumberland Plateau Mod Mini Series will be at I-75 Raceway this Saturday. It's a Friday-Saturday deal. I think they're practicing Thursday night, and Friday they're running like Late Model Sportsman 602. But I'll be down there Saturday announcing the modifieds and the Mod Mini Series, and you never know, you might even see me do some Southern All-Star Super Late Model.
Yeah.
So we're going to go down there and help out Ray Cook and Matt with the Cumberland Plateau Series this weekend. So making a trip to Tennessee for hopefully going to be a warm weekend. I think it's going to be in the 50s.
Yeah.
So long as it stays dry.
That'll feel like summertime right
Yeah,
now.
I'll wear shorts. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going to be heading to Tennessee this weekend. Anything else, Flash? You got anything?
No, I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're back to a regular show.
Yeah.
So it was regular like it always was. We bounced all over the place, talked about shit we didn't have on the plate. So,
that's what we do.
yeah, that's kind of what we do.
It's the way we are.
But I did remember to mention Jeff Green and
Yeah.
Walden Speed Decals, and
Yeah.
I remember to mention our episode number. So hell, we're going the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only screwed up a couple times on this show. So,
Yeah.
But besides that,
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, oh no, I almost forgot again. Word of mouth is the best advertisement.
Oh, yeah.
Like, subscribe, tell, share, all that good stuff that we never.
Send money.
Yeah, all that good stuff that we never talk about. Because we always forget about it. But word of mouth is it's the best advertisement. So just tell somebody about the show if you enjoy what we're doing, and if you don't, tell somebody anyways.
Yeah, because they might like it.
They might like it. They may not be jaded like you. We don't know.
Yeah.
But until next time, we'll be trading sliders.